Hello YouTube, my name is Stephen Blake. If you don't know me, I am a video blogger on Stephen Blake Official. So if you don't know me, go to my channel, which will be linked below, and you'll see my vlogging channel. Today I want to talk about The Hobbit. This is my new video review / film channel called Rate by Blake, and I want to talk about The Hobbit, directed by Peter Jackson. The bad news is that the film is split into 3 films, which are about 3 hours long. The good news is that the first one is an unexpected journey. Has lots of funny elements to it, and it's witty, has some witty scenes. It has fantastic action sequences. So there is a lot of things packed into this film. I went to see it in 48 frames per second HFR at the Newcastle Empire Cinema, and when I went to see, I want to talk about the 48 frames per second. When I went to see The Lord of the Rings, I thought it was a really good cinematic film, the way it was done, the effects, things like that. When I went to see this, I was nervous because I went to see it in 48 FPS, and I thought, I'd heard rumours about what it looked like and what it was, and the bad things about it. So I thought, right, I'll judge it for myself. And this is what happened. I went in, I sat in, I thought, right, got the 3D glasses, I'm sitting there, and I watched it. And as I was watching it, I was thinking, it doesn't look like there's no cinematic effect on it, there's no grain, there's no blur. It looked like I was watching, some of the bits were fantastic in HFR, but some bits were, I don't know, it looked like the beginning scene where they were looking at the Dwarf Kingdom. We're looking at the Dwarf Kingdom, and the actual set looked a bit, I don't want to say cheap, but it looked like you could tell it wasn't real. The face paints on some of the dwarfs and some of the characters didn't look real, where in the other films, because it had that cinematic effect, they looked absolutely real. This, it didn't look so real. There was certain parts of the film that made it look fantastic, such as Gollum. Gollum in 48 frames per second looks absolutely amazing for that short amount of time that he was in that film. I could have watched Gollum for hours. There's things that you come across, the mystical things such as trolls, giants, orcs, goblins. I don't know why it was 3 hours long. It was good. It was packed with lots of things, and it was packed with mainly the 3 hours long was taken up by showing the dwarfs' personality as they were arriving at the Hobbit's door, at Bilbo's door, and they were arriving there one at a time. But each dwarf had a personality, where in the book they don't really have a personality. So that took up most of the time. And what I was surprised, talking about the dwarfs, what I was surprised was that they kept the songs in, which are in the book. I didn't know how the tunes were going to go, and when I heard it, it was actually fun. It was like watching The Hobbit, the musical, like Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, the musical. I was like, what? I actually liked the songs being in there. Andy Serkis played a great Bilbo Baggins. He was fun, charismatic. He was right into the character. Even his part with Gollum, it worked. For me, it worked. I was a bit sad that you only saw Gollum in that one little part. Unless they bring him back in later, he's out of it. The film itself, we'll go back to the 48 frames per second. The bits I liked on that were the big landscapes of New Zealand looked really, really amazing using this frame rate. The cliffs, the mountains, the grass, the big hills and everything like that looked absolutely amazing. The landscape views bring something to this film in 48 frames per second. But like I said, the small bits like rocks and the building of the Dwarf Kingdom and things like that don't look as real as they could have done if it was done in 24 frames per second, or if it was done in the same way as Lord of the Rings was done. One thing I did like was the birds. Now, in the book, the birds talk. So I was like going, oh no, please don't make these birds talk. And it just turns out that the birds didn't talk. it was great effect that how the way the birds talked. It was almost like a ballet. The way they were scooping them up and the way things were happening, and the way they picked them up and dropped them on their backs and things like that. That was absolutely amazing part was the birds. Also, the dragon. Now, the dragon really worried me, and the dragon's still going to worry me, because in the book, the dragon talks, and I can't imagine the dragon talks unless it's the dragon from Shrek. And then the dragon won't work for me. I honestly don't want, I hope it's some sort of, like a telekinesis, like a telepathic token, rather than it being like its mouth moving like this. I am the dragon. So yeah, I hope the dragon doesn't talk, basically. I'm looking forward to seeing the next films, because I was expecting the birds to drop them off at the mountains, and the birds didn't drop them off at the mountains, which makes us wonder why, because that's where they were heading. They're heading to try and get the 13 dwarfs, their kingdom back, and they bump into the orcs, and they bump into all these bad troubles along the way. Gollum, where he finds the ring. Bilbo it shows you how Bilbo ended up with the ring from Lord of the Rings. And I thought the film, in general, the film was good. The storyline was good. It was dragged out a bit. I think it could have gone to about 2 hours if some of the stuff was cut out, but there was some interesting things. My favourite part was the dwarves and the singing and the personalities. That is the highlight for me. I'm going to give this film a 3 Blakes, 3 Blake heads, just because of the way it was filmed. Basically, I did like the 48 FPS, but it is not something I could watch it all the time for every single film. It just takes the cinematic effect away from us. I'm going to start making film reviews for this channel all the time, so keep watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my vlogging channel. Please give it a big thumbs up and post a comment. Tell us about what you thought of The Lord of the Rings. Did you like it? What did you like? What did you not like? What would you like to see in the next one? What would you not like to see in the next half? And give us some ideas give us some questions that you maybe want us to look at based on this film. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye, YouTubers.